What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. President Tsai Ing-wen says she hopes for closer military cooperation between Taiwan and the U.S. in the face of Chinese aggression. She made the comments in the meeting with retired U.S. Admiral Philip Davidson on Thursday. Davidson made headlines recently when he said China would invade Taiwan by 2027. Tsai also told Davidson about Taiwan's revamped national defense strategy.
面对威权主义的扩张，台湾必须提升自我防卫能力，才能确保国家安全，并且守护民主自由的价值。因此，我们以强化全民国防为战略目标，已经提出兵力结构调整的方案。
Meanwhile, U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said China, quote, cannot tell me where I can go. His comments came after Beijing warned Washington against McCarthy making the reported trip to Taiwan, possibly as early as this spring. James Chater has this story.
U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy emerging from the White House. The Republican here responding to questions about reports he will travel to Taiwan in spring this year, with pointed remarks for Beijing.
Any reaction to China's warning against visiting Taiwan for you?
I don't think China can tell me where I can go at any time, at any place.
U.S. political news daily Punchbowl News first reported the Pentagon was in the early stages of planning the House Speaker's trip to Taiwan. Beijing urged Washington against the visit.
中方一贯反对建交国同中国台湾地区开展任何形式的官方往来。
China claims Taiwan as part of its territory, despite the Chinese Communist Party having never ruled the country. Last August, then US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi became the highest-ranking American official to visit Taiwan in 25 years. In response, Beijing conducted live-fire missile exercises around Taiwan, launched cyber attacks against Taiwanese organizations, and suspended exports of Taiwanese products to China. On McCarthy's reported visit, Taiwan's foreign ministry told TaiwanPlus, Taiwan's representative office in the US maintains a good relationship and close communication with the office of Speaker Kevin McCarthy. As to whether the two sides have met, in line with US-Taiwan practice, we cannot comment at this time. But Taiwan did not confirm Pelosi's visit to the country until she had touched down in Taipei. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken will meet with Chinese officials in Beijing in the next few days. Speaker McCarthy's comments, the latest sore spot in an already tense relationship between Washington and Beijing. Howard Zhang and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's immigration agency is encouraging people who've overstayed their visa to turn themselves in. The agency launched the program on Wednesday that cuts the fines, jail time, and entry ban that migrants may face if they leave the country voluntarily. Stush Butler reports.
The National Immigration Agency in Taipei is a busy place on the best of days, and it could be about to get busier still. That's because the agency has rolled out a plan to get people who are staying in the country illegally to come here and hand themselves in. Normally, if you're caught overstaying your visa, you face a fine of about up to $340, a stint in jail, and a ban on coming back to Taiwan for up to 6 years. But under the program, the fine gets cut to $70, there's no jail time, and there's no ban on coming back. That'll be true until June the 30th. The agency says the number of foreigners who've overstayed has ballooned since the pandemic began.
I think it's about 71,000 overstayed migrants in Taiwan, and most of them are blue-collar migrant workers.
Yilan Cho of Amnesty International says workers from Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines and Thailand are the main targets of the plan, but she says the reasons they overstay remain the same. Blue-collar migrant workers don't have the freedom to change employers. That pushes some to run away and work illegally. Others overstay to earn more money to pay their debts to the labour brokers that brought them here. Once the amnesty plan ends, Taiwan's government actually plans to push up the penalties and entry bans to $5,000 and 10 years. Cho says that won't stop people from overstaying.
If we just raise the penalty, I don't think it will really solve the problem.
At the time of recording, the immigration agency had not responded to TaiwanPlus's request for comment. The agency hopes the amnesty and the threat of higher penalties later will encourage people to come forward. But rights groups say if authorities here are expecting a flood of penitent foreigners, they shouldn't hold their breath. Patrick Chen and Stash Butler in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Inflation is driving up prices around the world, and Taiwan is no exception. Prices for both dining in restaurants and traveling abroad have gone up recently. Eric Gao has this report.
Eating out just got a little more expensive. With inflation driving costs up everywhere, even some high-end all-you-can-eat restaurants are now charging more. Starting Wednesday, these buffets raised prices by up to $3 more per meal, an increase of around 10%.
今年真的是已经承受不住这个通膨这个涨价的压力，那么必须要做一些微幅的调整。
It's not just food costs that are rising. After the busy Lunar New Year travel season, analysts say airfares were significantly higher in January. It's estimated that international flights cost 30 to 50% more than they did before the COVID-19 pandemic, even on budget airlines. And prices aren't going to go down again anytime soon.
预计到2024或2025之后才有办法恢复到疫情前的水平。
Whether it's eating out or traveling abroad, for now, inflation is here to stay. And it's set to continue taking a bite out of people's budgets. Rick Yi and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
The 2023 Taipei Game Show opened to the public on Thursday. It's one of the biggest shows of its kind in Asia. Leslie Liao was there on the first day to take a closer look.
The name of the game is, well, games. It could be board games, cell phone games, computer games, console games, indie games, big AAA release, well, games. It's all here at the 2023 Taipei Game Show. Now, developers big and small have come here to Taipei Nangang Exhibition Center to show everybody what they've got.
275 vendors from 25 countries in 1,150 booths. That's what you can find at this year's event, running from February 2nd to February 5th. Industry heavyweights like Microsoft and Nintendo are here. But if you're into more niche stuff, you're good too. Asia's largest indie game festival, Indie House, has teamed up with Taipei Game Show to showcase over 100 independent games here. This year's Taipei Games Show is the first to take place since Taiwan lifted its COVID-related travel restrictions. That means people from all over the world can come, and they're here from places like...
And I'm from Austria.
And I'm from Latvia.
I'm from Italy.
This year's event is immersive, with scenery straight out of video games and people cosplaying as popular game characters. So it's not so much a show as it is an experience, and people are having a great time.
I think it's really cool, and I see energy here, and people here are really cool, and I really love it.
Like, they got cosplayers, they got streamers, and got broadcasters all here. So this is the reason why I'm here.
Well, this is the first time it feels like it's the actual Taipei Game Show. I think like last year or the year before, it was kind of dead. It was very small, very quiet. Like the big people weren't here, like Nintendo wasn't here, Sony wasn't here. And this year, everyone's back, but everyone's wearing masks, so it feels like we're kind of there, but not there.
One of the perks of coming to the Taipei Games Show is that people can play video games that haven't even been released yet. There are also tournaments and all sorts of freebies people can take home. And even if video games aren't your thing, the event also features board and card games.
This exhibition center will be absolutely bumping for the next 3 days. Now, pandemic restrictions prevented people and businesses from attending in the past few shows, but there's none of that this year. So this year, it's all about games, 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 and the people who play them. Eason Sun and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Was this part of your wedding vows? A foot race between husbands carrying their wives on their back. The run was part of an annual temple event this week in Yilan in northeastern Taiwan. Couples had to race for 60 meters, popping balloons on the way. There were prizes to win, but not necessarily for the fastest pair. The prizes were literally weighted, that is, adjusted for the weight of the wife. The run is not just a test of speed, but also of trust. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.